Yo, Brody, we gonna be here reacting to the Mr. Beast allegations are worse than ever. Let's see this shit.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
Well guys, I'm a liar. In my last video talking about this whole Mr. Beast fiasco, I promised that that video would be the last time I talked about all of this Mr. Beast nonsense that's been going on. And I meant that until yesterday happened. Yesterday on Twitter, a bomb was dropped in the form of a tweet by a former Mr. Beast employee that makes every single thing we've talked about thus far
Alright, here's the truth from my son Jake Franklin. Yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. Yes, he is a chill. Yes, he is a RSO. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took a plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. Wow.
Infinitely worse. Now, if you're not caught up on this whole Mr. Beast situation, at this point, there's honestly just too much to go through for a simple recap. I normally try and provide context for these videos, but seriously, there's like 6 or 7 weeks, maybe even more, of constant controversy to go through. So if you want to get caught up, I will shamelessly plug my first video that I made on this entire situation, because from this point forward, I'm going to be working under the assumption that you sort of know what's going on, and you're at least somewhat familiar with the very long list of allegations that Mr. Beast and his team are facing. Because the situation we're going to be talking about today, while it still sounds pretty damn bad on its own, is so much worse when you have the full story that I almost couldn't believe this when I first heard it. But before we get to this tweet, we have to talk about why this tweet was made in the first place. A lot of you guys will probably remember the YouTuber Dogpack404. He's one of the guys who blew the roof off this whole Mr. Beast situation in the first place, with a video that he made accusing Mr. Beast of exploiting his audience, faking videos, running illegal lotteries, and a whole lot of other not so good things. And 2 days ago, he came back with another video titled, "I Worked for Mr. Beast, He's a Sociopath." Now, in this video, he interviews a former Mr. Beast employee named Jake Weddle, who has quite a lot to say about how things are done on the Mr. Beast YouTube channel. Now, we're only going to be looking at a very small portion of this video, just a few minutes, but I would recommend that you give this full video a watch because it's pretty eye-opening and it confirms a lot of things that a lot of people have been thinking for quite some time. One of the most important things they talk about, I think, is that Jake was supposed to be a part of a video where he attempted to spend 100 days in solitary confinement, and it went terribly. He was basically tortured, and it was just an awful situation that Mr. Beast went on to recreate multiple times. Throughout this year, I've made a couple videos talking about those kinds of videos where he's putting people in solitary confinement, and I talked about how weird and immoral I thought those were, and nobody took me seriously. Okay, that's kind of an exaggeration, but the fact that he's been able to make so many videos like that—
Nah, that's a fact. Yo, tell me nah. There is not that many people. All those people damn near be winning on Mr. Beast shit. There is not that many people that have like the drive to be here 100 days down in a bunker, or you feel me, or anywhere else he be at, whatever, and I don't know, solitary confinement. Like, come on, no.
That since, with very little pushback, is kind of insane. But that's just one aspect of what Jake talks about. Like I said, I would really recommend giving the video a watch. These first-hand accounts of people who are interacting with Mr. Beast on the daily are pretty intense, which I think you'll get an idea of from the bit we're watching today. We're going to be taking a look at the last, like, 5 minutes of the interview, where Dogpack404 questions Jake Weddle about if he ever heard of sexual misconduct within the company outside of Ava Chris Tyson. And his answer to that is what we're gonna watch now. Now, I'm gonna let the clip play out in full because I feel like talking about this clip without showing you guys the tweet that followed it would kind of be pointless, because the tweet we're gonna be looking at makes this clip go from somebody saying something that looks really bad but who knows what's the actual story behind it, to this clip being something that might genuinely have the potential to ruin the Mr. Beast channel, which is something that previously I really didn't think was possible. The clip is about 2 minutes long, and here it is.
Outside of Ava Chris Tyson, did you really hear about any sexual misconduct at the company?
I've heard rumors. I can't confirm or deny anything. I don't have any tangible evidence, but I've heard stuff that if it could be investigated, that'd be great. It was like water cooler talk, but I've heard things, yes, of course. I heard, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very young people. The idea that
that's weird. That's
Jimmy
straight weirdo Tommy.
didn't know, or that Jimmy
And
was
if Jimmy knows,
stuff up.
he's a
He didn't
weirdo
want stuff to
too.
come
Straight
out.
like that.
He's very careful about his image. The tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. How do you prove that? Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender, on the registry and everything, who worked there. And you can,
They blurring out.
someone pees in public, you're on the registry, you get it. You can still have a job after you're on that's one thing. You go to prison, you get rehabilitated, that's one thing. If you do your time, that's fine. I think there should be rehabilitation in this country. But that guy, from what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. He's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And that he knew because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender? With a physical, how much feeling that you are a registered mask? Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender? With a physical mask? Do I have to, is it more on the nose? Or, I don't know why they let him go, because there's rumors back and forth, so I don't know why they let him go, but he did leave at one point.
Okay, so this is what caused me to break my promise on not making any more Mr. Beast videos, because holy fucking shit, this is insane. From just this clip alone, this looks absolutely terrible. You've got an RSO working at a YouTube channel that not only targets children as their audience, but also includes children in a lot of their videos. An RSO who is on the registry not for some sort of victimless crime like this guy mentioned, like peeing in public or something, but for something that involved an individual between the ages of 1 and 11. Couple that with the fact that he's wearing a mask in the video they were showing when nobody else is, there's really only so many reasonable conclusions you can come to. Now, once this video went live, it did not take people a very long time to find out this guy's real name and confirm that he is in fact on the registry for a crime with a victim aged 1 to 11. Screenshots of his registry info are all over Twitter. I'm not gonna show that because YouTube will probably not like that, but pretty much everything that this guy said has been confirmed to be true, not only by random people on Twitter, but also by a tweet made by the RSO's brother-in-law, Jake the Viking, another former Mr. Beast employee. Here's what it reads. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. I didn't include this in the clip, but the nickname of the RSO is Delaware. Yes, he is an RSO. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of sexual assault when she was 11. Delaware took a plea deal, that's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. His nickname isn't Delaware because he can't go back to Delaware. He's from Delaware. This is another part of the clip that I did not include, but Jake Weddle said he heard rumors that the guy's nickname was Delaware because he wasn't allowed to go back to Delaware. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's been back several times. He was hired before I was and was actually the reason I got hired in Mr. Beast. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew. But again, this incident happened in 2010. Delaware was hired in 2017/2018. Delaware was also let go from the company before before I was. Delaware was supposed to be a behind-the-scenes manager, but in a couple videos, he was asked to partake because we needed people. He was reluctant, especially in the straitjacket because of his charges, and that's why he wore the mask. Delaware's charges are set to be dropped this fall. Delaware has been nothing but a good person, an amazing husband to my sister, and the best father to my 2 nieces that I could ever ask for. They want no part in this and want to just live their lives away from the limelight. I understand why anyone would be upset and frustrated over these allegations, and I do not blame them. Hurting kids in any way is completely unacceptable, but in the case of Delaware, I firmly believe he did nothing wrong and look forward to the day these charges are dropped. Thank you. Okay, there's a lot of shit to unpack here. Firstly, and I think the most important thing to come out of this, is that Mr. Beast has no way to say he did not know about this. Apparently,
everybody's saying he knew.
Now, this is a complex and delicate situation because can people change? Yes. And Mr. Beast is his own person. If he ran a different kind of company that did not directly involve children, and he wanted to give a guy a chance at turning his life around, you do you, Mr. Beast. I'm not your daddy. Do I support it? In this case, no I don't, but you do you. However, you don't do you, and you don't do this when you have a YouTube channel that interacts with and targets children. This is unacceptable. There's
fact. I could have never expected this from Mr. Beast. He got all the children watching. He even got me watching, thinking, my dumb ass thinking, yeah, some of these videos might be real. Like, look at him. What if I was it? So I'm one of them idiots.
There's no way, there's no circumstance where this is okay. You cannot hire a registered sex offender when this is your line of work. Somebody somewhere fucks up the background check, something isn't found, you find out later and then you fire them. That's one thing. But knowing this and deciding to hire him anyways, I mean, you've got to be fucking insane. Now look, I'm not trying to speculate here, but I'm going to. Obviously nothing I'm saying here can be proven, but when you start to put these pieces together and you really look at it with all the context we've got, you really start to wonder what the fuck is going on with this group of people. You've got the Ava Chris Tyson shit. We already talked about how weird it was for these guys to be filming in a house where those posters were visible with nobody saying anything. You've got this super inappropriate and weird Discord conversations coming out, and now we've got this. I mean, at some point, things stop being coincidences, and you've got to wonder what's with the concentration of this kind of person making it to the higher levels of the Mr. Beast company. Now look, this could just be a case of survivorship bias. Mr. Beast works with so many people that it's sort of unlikely for no bad eggs to come through, is what I would say if there wasn't what appears to be evidence that Mr. Beast knew about all of this while these people were working for him. Look, it's one thing to hire a person and then find out
just
they're not
accepted
so
it at
good
one
person.
point.
It's a different thing to employ them through that. Look, I'm not trying to speak for anybody at the Mr. Beast company or
keep my business out of it.
But if I was working on a project and somebody came up to me and said, hey, this new guy, yeah, he's on the registry for doing something to an 11-year-old. We can't use his real name and we have to hide his face. I would have said,
get out.
Oh, okay, go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna be a part of that. So you really gotta start wondering, what is the work environment like on these sets where everyone was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. We can hide this guy's identity because if people found out who he really is, we'd be in some real deep shit. Like, what the hell is going on? And look, this guy can say that he's a great person, a great husband, an amazing friend, all this shit. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's lying. This is about Mr. Beast knowing what the situation was, knowing what he does for a line of work, and deciding this guy is a good fit anyways. That's unacceptable. This is a step beyond faking your videos or doing unfair giveaways. This is some real devious shit. It would be one thing if Mr. Beast just hired the guy and he stayed behind the scenes. Still bad in my opinion, but it would be objectively better than putting him in videos where you give him a fake name and you cover up his identity because you knew what you were doing was wrong. It makes me want to put all my money into shovels because this hole seems to be getting exponentially bigger for the Mr. Beast team. Well guys, what do you think? Are people like me overreacting? Was this just Mr. Beast trying to do some good? Because I can't believe that's the case. I refuse.
That was crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. How y'all feeling about Mr. Beast? Mr. Beast, we not jacking you right now, bruh. That shit crazy. But I'll see y'all in the next one, yo, brody. Ah!